The bottom line excuse for anybody who leaves God out of their thinking is to assume the complexity of life, the origin of matter, time, space, energy, and everything is all by some natural process. The problem with every kind of this evolutionary thinking is totally contradicts and undermines the clear, straightforward word of God. So as a Christian that's accepting that, you're rejecting that God's word can mean what it says. And B, it doesn't work. It cannot be explained by natural processes, those things that God did supernaturally and told us he did. And I am going to jump right in, okay?
Let's hear one of these.
Right at the beginning of Without Excuse on January 4th. And by the way, nobody reads these books a page a day because they're just too interesting to see what's going to happen on the next day.
They are.
I talk, it's a section on anatomy, and I talk about doctors when they go to medical college, they have to start studying the systems of biological life. Now, any engineer knows a factory is a system where you have to have lots of raw materials coming and being transformed and being placed in the right spot in the right time in the right sequence. It's a system before the car comes out the other end of the factory. Systems never happen a step at a time. They all have to be in place or nothing works. Now, our body is systems upon systems upon systems. And let me tell you what I mean. An individual cell has thousands of individual components, parts, and chemicals. And they're literally all talking to one another, communicating, requiring raw materials, transforming them, and interacting. Take any organ of our body, like the eye. The eye is a system. It has to have a lens. It has to have a cornea. It has to have fluid. It has to have a retina. Unless all of it's there, none of it works. But the body itself, now I'm working my way out, okay? And everything there is communicating with biological signals, which are telling it what it needs, what raw materials, how they're transported, how they're going to get there, so it'll all work continually and repair itself. Now, the human body has a look. Okay, let me give you this example. How does something you eat, how does the nutrition get to your toe? Okay, if the cells in your toe don't get the nutrition, those cells are going to die. How does that happen? Well, your mouth has to chew the food and enzymes have to start dissolving. Your throat has to be able to swallow without the food going into your lungs, so a little flap has to close while the food's going down and air doesn't, it opens up for air. A valve in your stomach has to open and then close so it doesn't come back up into the throat and you're constantly throwing up. It has to be mixed with acids, eaten, broken down. Then it goes into the intestines where enormous surface areas of blood-filled villi absorb the nutrients and take them to the bloodstream. So the food does no good unless there's a bloodstream. The blood has to be moving, which means there has to be a heart. Without oxygen, none of it can be broken down and oxidized. So now you have to have a respiratory system bringing oxygen into the lung, which goes into the blood, which the circulatory system can then take, combine with the food, transport the nutrients to the cells, which then have to take them in through a membrane to allow the right stuff in, the right stuff out. And the bad stuff has to be then ejected by the urinary system and so on. So you have at least 4 systems that all have to be in place or nothing works and the cells in your toe die. Now, systems don't make themselves. And that's just the parts of the human body. So that's one of the pages where I go through the immune system, the urinary system, the endocrine system, the muscular system. Without muscles, the stomach couldn't do what it does. So now we're up to 5 systems required in order to food to get to where it needs to be in your body. And
so people that say that all of this happened with slow, gradual, random processes, the reality is the only way for that to happen with small, random changes is inside of your imagination. There's no way this wasn't designed by an all-wise designer, certainly somebody that's smarter than us. I mean, how long have we been trying to do robots and we're not even close to getting it, and all we're doing is copying the system that's already there. We're having a hard time even copying it. Truly, if you have seen a body, you are without excuse for not understanding the truth of the amazing designer that we serve and that created this world.
Well,
Wow.
and again, that's exactly what God has told us. In the book of Romans, it says, every human being is without excuse for believing in him because we can see what he has made. It all could have made itself. We have every excuse in the in the universe to not believe there's a God. There's ways it could have made itself. But God
Wow.
said, go look at creation so you will not hope that I exist, not wonder if I exist, not even believe that he exists. By looking at what God has made, you will know, absolutely know that God exists.